Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to demonstrate the use of one of my Instax Wide mods, which is a Polaroid 110B. It's the camera as you're going to receive it from me. Modified to use Instax Wide film, using slow-mo wide as Instax Wide Sports. So when you get this from me, it's going to look like this, and this is possibly in a case. If this build I send you, and no case, and if you send me a Polaroid 110B with no case, yours modified. Anyway, so for those of you who are not completely familiar with the use of 110Bs, let's go through this first, and then we can go ahead and demonstrate how you actually use it to shoot Instax Wide photos using my mod. So the camera is gonna come like this. It's folded, and as you know, these are folding cameras. It means they have bellows that extend. In order to unlock the bellows, you have to press this button first, and this will unlock the front cover. And sometimes it's a little stiff, not gonna easily come out. So you can pull out a bit, and then grab it, and then pull it all the way till it locks. Has this locking mechanism on the side, the side rails, and you want to hear positive lock. And now the bellows of the cameras are still retracted. You cannot shoot in this position. I mean, you shoot, but nothing's going to be in focus. So, and the front standards, the one that contain the lens, have a locking mechanism. There's a latch here. And for my builds, I have to modify the position of the infinity stop, the place this thing latches on, in order to achieve proper focus with the build. And the way you lock the standards, the infinity stop, may look something like that. There's a low profile U-shaped piece. It's made of hard plastic, carbon fiber infused PET. And so the way you do this, you use your thumb and grab this hook, and push it all the way in, and it's locked. Now it's positively locked on those standards, and you are kind of ready to shoot. But in order to shoot, this is a fully manual camera. You have to, of course, measure your light, whatever, set the aperture and the speed on your lens, focus, frame and focus, and then press this button to release the shot. Your camera, your lens also has a socket for cable releases. Commercially available cable releases, they're fairly universal. You can get it for like $10 on Amazon or on eBay for like $2. Anyway, so let's say we want to start shooting. We don't have the film attached right now, but let's demonstrate how the aperture and the speed work on this. So both the aperture and the speed are set on the lens, and the lens has a cover, so don't forget to remove the cover before you shoot. Otherwise you're going to shoot through this little pinhole cap, which is f90. It's designed for very long exposure on slow film. And anyway, so both the aperture and the speed markings are on the lens on the side, and you see on the top row is the aperture speed, the speed settings. You go from B to 1/300 of a second, and you have the aperture settings on the bottom. They go to 4.7, which is very close to f4 there, to f45. So it allows you to use very fast speed outside, very fast film outside. So in order to use the aperture settings, the aperture is set using this little lever. It's very close to bottom ring, and there's a little arrow next to it, and you're gonna see. So this is now set. This is set on f32. Yeah. Let's set it to f5 means f8, for example. What's f8? You get the idea. And the speed is set rotating this ring right here. maybe stiff on some cameras. It's okay, it should have positive clicks for each speed, depending on the age of the shutter. Be stiff. And so this is set on 1 second, 1/2 second, 1/4 second. So let's put it on 1/30 of a second. All right. And now you set them, but these are all shutters, so they're not self-cocking, so you have to cock the shutter and then shoot. So and this is the cocking lever right here. So, and again, depending on the age of the shutter, it may be stiff. So what you want to do is make sure that you grab it, push it all the way, and don't let go till it's. And if you really encounter a lot of resistance, your shutter needs a CLA, so you don't want to break it by forcing that. Anyway, so shutter is cocked, so you set your aperture speed, you frame and focus. These are rangefinder cameras, and I calibrate the rangefinder, so what you're gonna see by looking into this, you're gonna see a little trapezoidal rangefinder patch in the middle, and some of them are faint because these are 1950 cameras and the range-finding system relies on dichroic lens, on dichroic mirror. That's just a regular mirror coated with these dichroic coatings that leave half of the light through at 45 degrees, so you see a double image coming from a second optical system here. Anyway, so the idea is that you kind of rotate the lens, and the standards are coupled with the dichroic mirror, so you're going to see the dichroic patch moving, and in the dichroic patch you're going to see a double image, and you align that with your subject, and if this is calibrated, once you align that, your lens is also going to be in focus. So you focus, you frame, your shutter is cocked. And how do you shoot? Well, the shutter level, the release lever is this guy here, and it's coupled with this big ass honky shutter lever the Polaroid built. Alright, done. Or you can use this cable socket as I showed you. So this again, cocking this. Alright, you're done shooting. So again, don't forget that after you frame and focus, this is off, because otherwise you're going to shoot through the lens and to the pinhole cap, and basically you'll get no image at f90 with this exposure times. You're not going to get anything. Anyway, so you're done shooting. So how do you fold this back? Well, on the side of the inside of the focusing board, you're going to see distance markings, which you don't actually use per se, because this is a rangefinder camera coupled. But what you do use is that infinity mark. You want to make sure the focusing board is retracted all the way down, and those arrows basically point to infinity, the top arrow. Because if you try to fold this otherwise, you're going to damage the folding mechanism. And the next thing you do, you want to unlock the front standards from the infinity stop, and you push this button, and this is unlock them temporarily. But you may see that the rollers get stuck on the infinity stop, so sometimes or may not. So what you want to do is slightly move them on top, push them down, so lift them over infinity stop. And then this is completely unlocked right now, so you use both your fingers, push this down all the way. Now it is ready to be folded, but if you just try this, it's not gonna fold because it's locked. So, and the way the focusing board, it's locked in 90 degrees position, it's using these spring-loaded levers on the side. and you wanna unlock them by pushing them both down. And then when you do that, you're also you're gonna unlock this from like this position. So locked. That unlocks them once you do the second one. And they're not, you see there's this already slightly angled, but at this point you should be able to just push it down. And in that process, if you still get stuck on the focusing board, just gently lift these rollers once they reach the focusing board, and lift them over at that point, and then continue folding this, and it's locked. All right, so that's how you lock. That's how you use the camera part of speed and aperture and everything else. Now let's see how we use the Instax part. Now I mod these cameras and add a Polaroid 600SC style clamp. It is from an actual old Polaroid 600SC from mini portrait cameras, just so you know. And this works by locking a film back using these side levers. Up it's locked. In this case, the way I glue it, bottom is unlocked. And there's two, one on each side. So you have to do, after you put your film back, you have to lock them both, and you can unlock them by pushing from the top or grabbing from the bottom. This is unlocked. So you want them in unlocked position, and now what can you attach to this? Well, you attach the long wide Instax back that I made specifically for these cameras. So this has two hooks, two Polaroid 600SC style hooks that go into these notches here. Make sure these are pointing down, and make sure the camera is pointing up. This is upside down. It will work upside down, but your image will be upside down, your resulting image. So, and so gently lay this, register those hooks. You should sit pretty tight. Make sure it's not actually. Make sure it's register per and everything. And now you lock this on each side. So I would suggest you start with the left side, push it all the way up. See? Push it all the way up. And then I'll rock the right side. Push it all the way up. It may click, it may not click, but it's definitely just gonna lock those in place. It's not really going anywhere. All right. Don't drop the camera in this position. You risk, don't drop the camera in general, but if you drop it like this, you risk the breakage of the plastic parts, and it may or may not be fixable, and it's a camera. All right, so now you have the back attached, and say you want to shoot a photo, shoot an Instax Wide photo of this. So let's unlock this. Lock the focusing standards, remove, uncover the lens, cut the shutter, actually set your speed, measure, set your speed, don't cock the shutter and then move the ring around. Oh, one last thing about shutter, do not ever leave it cocked and in the 1/300 of a second position. You will break the shutter. In general, don't leave it cocked, but don't leave it in the 1/300 of a second position if it's uncocked. So when you store it, you kind of want to store it 1/15, 1/8. 1/15 is a good position. And then make sure it's uncocked. So do this. You want to put some film in. your finger are not the most friendly mechanism. This is an old, it's a cassette with old used film. Push it in. And now, if this is a new cartridge, it's gonna have a dark slide, and you wanna eject the dark slide first. And I wired the eject button to this, and for my latest build, this is a one, you don't have to keep it pressed all the way till the frame ejects. You have to keep it pressed for about a second. One. Which provides full automatic eject. These are used frames, of course. And then you're done. So, alright, how do you frame and focus with this? Well, we covered this before, so set your aperture speed, cut the shutter, frame the subject, align the rangefinder patch as much as you can. Because these are where, because of the way they are built, you can only use your right eye to frame and focus. It may be a little awkward, but these are the compromises we take with these builds. They're not 100% ergonomic, except for that. And then bring your fingers, locate the shutter button. Done. You can make multiple exposures, of course. And then push this for about a second. And just activate the eject cycle. You're done. Alright? So you're done shooting. Cover this, retract the focus board. Unlock these. Unlock the focus board, sorry, from focusing board from the standard, and then drag it across a bit here. Okay, this is down, all the way down. Release the locking mechanism of the focusing board. Say locked, unlocked. Hold this down. Again, this may hit my little homemade finger stuff. Make sure that you lift it over. You don't want to damage it. And then you're done. All right. And after you're done with the film, you can release it. This doesn't have a dark slide, so if you remove it right now, you're gonna spoil the film. Now, the Instax Wides, in case you're not familiar with this, the Lomo Wide, have a mechanical frame counter. So after, and this is gonna show you the photo position you're on. Goes from 1 to 10. So you shot 1, it starts at 1, I think, or 0. Yeah, so it starts at 0. And then after you shoot a dark slide, you're gonna go to 1. So that's your first photo you're gonna eject. And then you press this, and it goes to, let's test this. This resets it. So now it's at 0. Assume this is a dark slide. I don't have anything left. So this would eject the dark slide, but you'll move the counter to 1. So now you're ready to shoot your first photo. When you see 1 in there, it means like the first photo is ready to be shot. You shoot, you eject. This moves to 2, your first photo ejected. Number 2 is you have the second photo shot. So once you get to 10, you know that this is your last shot. And once you press that, you're done, you're out of film. All right, so you're done shooting. You want to remove this. You have to unlock this. Don't try to remove this without unlocking the clamp, the Polaroid stand. You are going to damage everything. So put your finger in here, unlock the right side, and put your finger in here, unlock the left side. This also works if you just pull them like that. But make sure that you hear the clicking sound. Okay. All right, you're done. this is it. I provide a cover for this. I don't have it handy, but it's a cover that locks and unlocks the same way the back locks and unlocks. Back is gonna come with a cover locked. So it's really gonna be like that. So remove the cover by pushing this, and then remove the cover, and then attach the back. And then I recommend keep the cover on when you're not shooting. Dust can get on the lens. They're all lenses. You don't want to cover them. You don't want to clean them too much. So if the dust gets in the mechanism, you can jam your back too. Sadly, I don't have a cover for this. So I will keep this in a plastic bag when you're not using it, because this is not a closed camera. It doesn't have a lens in front to prevent the dust from coming in. And if dust comes in, it's going to get on the rollers. And dust on rollers means you're going to have those little periodic streaks. They look like little dots because of the dust pushes the film when it develops in the regular intervals. So you don't want it either. Yeah, this is it. Let me know if the build you says you receive has light leaks. It may happen. I do my best to discover them and send back to me and fix it up. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.